I would love to invite all the characters of the show to come on to speak on it and speak on it. You know, this is what it's for. I know some of them may not want to speak on it with me because maybe they feel like I'm not going to let them say their piece since we're both on the show together. But I promise you, you can say whatever you got to say. I can actually have somebody else come in and interview you for me so that you won't feel like it's, bias or anything. So just putting that out there.
I don't have to clout chase. I never said you clout chase. I'm fine.
What up, y'all? I am your girl Kandi, and to my left, we got the infamous Courtney sitting in this seat, and behind us we have our bartender of the week, our man of the hour, of the decade.
Yes.
Torin. You might know him from Kandi and the Gang, but he is definitely a man of many talents. He also was the event coordinator for our peach party that we had. He has an events company.
Thank you.
So if you need an event, call Torin. Y'all know my party was lit. It was nice.
It was.
It was very much set up perfectly.
So I know you don't drink. So I made my rendition of a mojito. I made you a strawberry fojito.
Okay.
Right here.
I like
I'm going to bring it over to you.
Okay, for the fojito.
There you are.
Got it. Thank you.
Yes. Let me know.
It's good. I like it.
I try.
Okay.
I do a little something.
All right. You want to update anybody and let them know what you got going on, how they can follow you?
Okay. So on Instagram, you can follow me at officialtorin.mitchell. I am still currently taking bookings. Yeah, I do interior and events. So I can do your party or your house. Just come to me for the vibe.
Love it. Yes.
All right. Thank you, Torin.
Of course.
You guys can check out their separate conversation that they had on the Speakeasy, which came on earlier today before this aired on YouTube. So you might have already seen it, but yeah. Shout out to my boy Torin. Thank you for joining us.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
All right, Courtney, I had to let Torin go because I need this one-on-one
I am
moment.
here for this moment.
You are.
I am.
I am glad. I really want to say thank you for accepting my invitation.
For sure.
Because I know some people, we had a moment that wasn't so kind in the beginning of the season. And some people would have probably been like, oh, I'm not coming, whatever. So I appreciate you coming on to speak on it.
Absolutely.
Calm the down. I'm about to headbutt this bitch.
Hey, y'all. I'm your girl, Kandi. And this is, to my left, Courtney. And we're about to
Speak on it.
Hey! Well, speak on it. Okay. So we have a lot to talk about this last episode, but before I get to that, I really wanted to get a chance to know you better.
Okay.
Because I feel like, you came in like a storm. You came in hot in the first episode, but we really didn't get to know much about your background. So can you please tell the people who Courtney is, what do you do?
So first off, I'm a mom because I think that's the most important job that I'll ever have. So I have a 25-year-old daughter. She is in grad school at Syracuse. She has 2 degrees from Syracuse. She's working on her 3rd. So very, very proud mother. And then my background, actually, I started out with Clear Channel, and I used to run sales arms of stations, right? So media, advertising, sales. And then I went into entrepreneurship in 2009 for the first time, doing consultant for media companies as well as retail businesses. And then was in Atlanta, did pretty well for myself. Then I fell in love and got married and moved to Chicago.
Oh, wow.
And I moved to Chicago and was there for about 5 years with my ex-husband. Got a divorce, and so when I was here before, I had a client, Simon Guabadia, and I worked out of his office, and Dina Marto, who's my now business partner, our offices were beside each other in his office, and I brand managed all of his businesses at that time. So we had worked together in multiple capacities. So when I got divorced and moved back, we decided to merge firms and start working together. So we started a separate marketing agency.
Gotcha.
Yeah, where we work with, it's like us and 8 women. And then I launched a jewelry line in it's a year old, Courtney Rhodes. So now I'm marketing my own stuff, and I should have a big announcement about a department store that's actually going to pick it up. So
That's awesome.
Super excited about that. And that's kind of it. And I like to have fun. Like, I'm just a fun girl.
Okay. All right.
Which hopefully you've seen some.
Yeah, I see a little bit. I'm not going to lie on you.
Right. Like, that's my thing, you know? So empowering women, and really, I'm just really big about women having a voice and being authentic and really having no boundaries, and I support that and like to have a lot of fun in between.
Well, those are some things that you didn't get to know or find
Yes.
out during the course of the season.
Yes.
Wait, roll back. I just want to roll back. You said you used to work with all of Simon Guabadia. That's
he
Portia's
was
husband, right?
It is.
Oh, okay.
But this was
Small world.
pre-Portia. But yeah, it was his. I was the brand manager for all. He had like 7 businesses at the time. Yeah. So Dina and I, again, both our offices were within his office.
Gotcha.
So,
And Dina is the one that I know that I said I
Yes,
knew on
yes.
the show.
Which
Okay.
I've always been behind the scenes, and she obviously is like out and about. So yeah, which makes our partnership pretty nice.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Now, all right, so let's address what I'm sure everybody wants to talk about
Yes.
first. Me and you getting into it on the first day. We didn't even know each other.
Ciao.
Okay, so what happened? You tell your side.
Okay, I'll tell my side. So, which I've told before, in September, I was in Paris doing work with the jewelry line, and I hadn't told my business partner that I was considering the opportunity, and she calls one day, and she just thinks it's so funny. I don't know why she thought this was funny, because she knows how I am, right? Like, I don't talk about who I know or who I hang. I don't post it typically, but we do have a client that she also works for, who's been a client of our agency for a long time, who actually introduced me to one of my closest guy friends, ironically enough. And so she was talking to, I guess you called his wife, and you guys had a conversation, and it came back to me that you said that I said that we were friends, and I was using the fact that we were friends to get on the show. And so Dina was like, so you just clout chasing in these streets? And I'm like, that didn't happen. So I immediately started calling like the people who I was talking to about getting on the show. And they were like, we didn't say that. We told her you're probably going to be on the show or whatever, but we never said that.
Kandi seems cool. We've been in similar circles. I don't know if I told you this, but I thought this was interesting. Did I tell you she was calling around asking some people about me? And she was like, I heard she said that we were friends.
Fast forward, I have a scene with Sonia and Sheree, and I'm telling them, and I'm being catty, of course.
What? Wait.
Why would I say we're friends?
So she's going around
and pulls up my Instagram.
You know, they both were like, well, you should say something. Ask her about it. We're laughing,
Put that
kikiing.
battery in her back.
You know, you should ask her about it. And so I did, and in retrospect, I should not have done it at that party that night. I was drinking. I was getting hyped up. But I'm going to be honest, like when Marlo came to me and was like, so I heard, I'm like, you know what though? I just want to I want to have a conversation. I did not expect it to kind of go where it did. But that's my side of what happened.
Okay. So, just to hear it from me, from my side, basically, you know, just like you said, I mean, whenever, you know, somebody is going to be a part of the show, they'll ask, you know, us, you know, do you know this person
Yeah.
or whatever. So I was like, yeah, no, I don't think I know her or whatever. And they was like, well, she said like y'all met or y'all in the same circle. So I was like, well, who is it? Of course I'm going to ask.
No,
well,
of
who
course,
is
as
it?
you should.
And I was like, well, y'all got her page? I asked them,
Yeah,
did they have
they
the
told me
page?
about that.
And so then they were like, it's, you know, they sent me the page and I
Yeah.
was like, I don't know her or whatever. And they was
Yeah.
like, well, she said that she did some crisis management or something for your friends.
No, but so we do crisis management.
Uh-huh.
The guy was definitely a client of ours multiple times.
Okay.
But yeah, and we do crisis management, but yeah.
Okay. Well,
Two totally different things.
okay. Well, I'm just telling you how it came to me.
Okay.
So, of course, I'm like, oh, really? I was
Yeah,
like, okay, well, let me ask my friend.
Yeah.
So I asked my friend, and I was like, hey, you ever heard of such and such? She's
Yeah.
like, no. And I was like, well, they said they did some crisis management for you. And then she was like, I did not know of. I don't think so. And then so she was like, well, let me ask him. And so
Yeah.
I don't know how they brought it back because we know how telephone works, the game of telephone.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it wasn't anything shady. I was just trying to figure out, okay, is this somebody that I'm supposed to be cool with, that I'm supposed to pull up under my wing to be like, oh yeah, these my people? Or like, how am I supposed to look at you?
See, this
you
is
get
the
what I'm
first
saying?
time I'm even hearing the crisis management piece, which is interesting because there was in Atlanta a big crisis management situation with a restaurant. And we were the agency of reference for that client, and he was also a client of ours. So that was the only crisis situation because obviously we had to try to diffuse it. And he actually brought the restaurateur on, and they did a live or something. But yeah.
Okay, well.
So you never said that I said that I was.
No, I said that she says that she, is in our circles. Like we met before.
Well, I said that at my business party because I had met you
Well,
once or twice.
I mean,
Regina, but
when
I
I
definitely
looked at
never
your-
said we were friends or anything like that. So
Well, and I didn't say
it
the
came
word
back to
friends.
me all sideways.
I didn't say the word friends. And so I just kind of felt like when I went to the party that night, to be honest with you, I was expecting to either have drama with Marlo, which because I knew I had did the spoofs or whatever.
Yeah.
So I was expecting either Marlo or Sheree to say something to me.
Sure.
So when I saw you, I just remembered your face because I remember the scene in the
Yeah,
picture.
of
So I
course.
was just like, oh, hey, how you doing? And next thing you know, you was like, so I heard you said we was friends. I was like, wait, whoa. What is
And I'm gonna say
talking
something.
about?
Your little faces, which now I know is just a thing, but you were really looking at me with some really wicked faces, like when I first started that
Well,
conversation.
You was a little hype.
I probably was.
You
for
was a
sure.
little hype.
I don't have to clout chase. I never said you clout chase. Oh, calm the down.
But I'm glad we have moved beyond and that it was a misunderstanding.
No, I'm definitely moved beyond. I'm just kind of like recapping because
Yes.
this is
People
the
want to
obvious.
know. Yes. Yeah, no, for sure.
So that's to me how it went left, and this is another part of
What's
it.
that?
I had been like dealing with a lot of drama from a lot of different people right before starting back filming.
Okay.
So and my whole spirit at that moment was like, I don't care who it is, whoever wants to smoke this year, getting the smoke. And so I already was.
Listen,
I was already on edge just to understand.
And then
why
I come in
was
there like, hey.
I was like, wait a minute. So it went left, and then we was
did.
kind of on bad vibes for a little while, a few weeks
Yes.
or whatever. But I would say where it
Yes.
turned around for me
Okay.
was when Marlo and I had that big argument at the event that you threw at the game place.
Yep.
When I stormed out,
Yeah.
you came out and was like, "Oh, I just want to check on you, see how you doing."
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. I felt like that was an olive branch. I don't know.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I was genuinely concerned because I wanted us to kind of regroup.
I just was like, you know what? Me and her, we really ain't had nothing to really be seriously arguing about. So I'm just going to accept this olive branch. And so I feel like for me, that's what broke the ice.
Yeah.
To where I was more receptive when we were in group settings for the conversation and stuff like that.
Which I appreciate that because I will say it's hard when you're beefing and you're in this conversation. It's like with a group of women, it makes it very difficult for the whole group. It's just odd. And I didn't like that feeling at all. So I'm like, if nothing else, I'm going to be respectful for the group and try to come with a positive mindset. You know what I mean? So I appreciate that.
Yeah, people don't quite understand that. It's like they always be like, if I were you, I would never talk to them, or I wouldn't, why are you being fake by talking to them again? And I'm like, well, over time, if you're forced to be in these same settings with the same group, you kind of feel weird if I'm purposely trying to avoid you or purposely avoid trying to speak to you the entire time. Now, if we weren't, this is kind of like working together, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, totally.
If we weren't necessarily working together, then it's easy to be like, I don't have to talk to her ever again and then going about your business.
Right.
But it don't work like that.
I
in this
agree.
re-
And
in
it's
this
also
setting.
fun sometimes. So it's like nobody wants a funky attitude because
Right.
I'm like the fun girl. Like, can we just have fun?
Yeah.
And I'm very touchy, you know this, and giggly and like go girl kind of thing. So it does feel weird sometimes. And I'm natural, to be honest.
let's roll on to some of the other things that happened. Well, I want to give you the opportunity to speak on anything that you didn't get to really speak on during the season. If you felt like you were misrepresented or, you know, I mean, I'm not talking about, I haven't got to this episode yet.
Okay.
But I'm just saying, period, because I know we had a lot of episodes.
We did.
And people were able to, you know, think what they want to think. So I want to give you the opportunity to say, you know, if there was something that you felt like,
yeah,
I didn't get really to.
So I appreciate that too. I don't think that I'm very vocal. Obviously, I feel strongly when I feel strongly, or I just don't care at all, which is really weird because it's not like I'm not, either I care or I don't. What I will say, and it's not that I feel like it was all me, I just hate that I started the way that I did, but people don't understand, like, it's real, right? So it's real life things happening, and I felt like if I could redo it, I would have honestly gotten to know you a little first and then have that conversation, probably where I wasn't drinking, probably not at that event. And I dealt with starting off like that, but no, I'm pretty vocal, Kandi, so I wish there could have been a more balanced, just a more balanced part of my story, because there were some things that wasn't shown. Like I said, I work, I have an agency. There's 8 amazing women. I have this beautiful daughter. And I really am like a women, support women, love women. I just believe that we make shit happen. I believe we're amazing. And I just think that I just don't ever want to be seen as that woman that's just fighting women, because that's just not who I am in 90% of my life, Well,
so, you did have some back and forth with some women on the show.
I definitely did. And that's
Not
just a part.
me.
And that's just a part of owning your voice, though. Like, I'm not going to let anybody ever push me around, though, right? And I have things to say. But there is other parts of me, and I wish some of that stuff would have been shown, but I'm okay with where we are.
What's your birthday?
January 6th. Capricorn.
Oh, same day as my son.
Oh,
that's
nice.
crazy.
And my daughter's a Taurus, by the way.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Ace is of January 6th.
Is it January 6th?
Yes. So you and Sheree are both
Capricorns. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
Cool. I got to know during
Ace,
the season.
You have an amazing child, just in case you don't already know that, Kandi.
Well, Ace is pretty amazing.
He may be president one day. I don't know.
Okay, so one thing that I did learn about you that I didn't know, because, obviously you were brought in as you were Sheree's friend.
Which I think is interesting.
But I also found out that you and Shamia had a long, cool history prior to the show.
Yeah, absolutely. We actually met. We were both in Jezebel's. You know how they do the most 50 Beautiful? And we just, she's a fun girl, too. So we kind of just connected, and we had a lot of fun. This was, again, before I, got married and moved to Chicago. So I hadn't seen her in, forever. Actually, when I started filming the show, I started seeing people that I hadn't seen in a minute. But yeah, for sure, I love Shamia.
Okay, during the show,
yeah,
we got to meet your daughter's father.
Yes.
Who is a celeb.
Yes.
He was in the group.
Group Theory.
Yeah, sorry, my
Mantronics first, and then Group Theory.
Well, yeah, everybody love Group Theory now.
Yeah.
But you didn't show a current relationship.
With him?
Like an intimate relationship.
Oh, yeah. Because remember, I
you and him are like friends.
Yeah, we're co-parent.
Yeah.
And let me just say, I don't know about you, but parenting my daughter at 25 is this is the hardest time of motherhood for me, because yeah, it really is, because Jayla just is she's a Taurus, she's very strong-minded, and we have to stay on her. We stay on her, we double team her. So I thought it was odd that people thought it was weird that we co-parent. I'm like, when Jayla was young, she kind of did what I said do, and it was easy, but now we have to double team her.
Really?
Yeah, we do. It's challenging, and I was pretty off the chain at 25 too, so yeah.
Okay. I thought when they were 25, they get to kind of make their own decisions. Unless, well, I guess when we still pay.
We make her think that she's, you know what I mean? But we collectively make these decisions because we're still paying for college. Let's just be clear, and her apartment. So
right. It's you still got to say. So my question, the reason why I was asking you about the relationship part of it is because, obviously on the show, they always want to dive into everybody's personal story, personal life.
Yeah.
You didn't get to show much of yours. So my question is, going forward, if the opportunity presents itself again, how do you feel about that piece of it? Are you going to be open to people seeing your dating life?
Yeah, but I will say that I just went through a divorce. So you have to keep in mind, I went through a divorce that was finalized December 2020, and then I think our trust didn't unwire until like the following year. So I wasn't like my dating life wasn't like too robust at the time, right? But yeah, I mean, absolutely. Like I wasn't gonna bring someone on that I really wasn't like genuinely dating. But of course, because that's part of my life.
Because child,
Like,
I get tired of people bringing these.
I think it's
nights.
inauthentic, and I think you could tell when that's the case.
Who are you talking about that you may have seen?
Well, you know what? I've seen a lot of people, so I'm not gonna. I mean, some people do it over and over and over again. But I think it's pretty obvious.
Moving right along.
Yes, let's do that.
Relationships we saw on the show this year. Because I'm talking about this because it was a little bit in this episode.
Okay.
Marlo and
Scott Lee.
What do you think about their relationship?
So what I can say is, from what I've seen, I like it. But I haven't seen a lot of it, right? Like, I've seen him off the camera with her. I've seen him on camera with her. And I like it, but I don't know enough about it off camera.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was sitting here thinking like, nah, is this one of them fake relationships?
But they kind of have, don't you think they have chemistry?
Well, what I will say is, what was it? Which episode was that one? I was like, oh, okay, I might change my mind a little bit. It seemed like they had a little something. They FaceTime on one of these more recent episodes.
Yeah.
Where I was like, okay, I might give them a benefit of the doubt. I'm gonna wait the next season
and see what happens.
And see if he's still around.
And let me tell you something else. So we did an event that Moet Hennessy sponsored, a women's dinner, and he was the chef. And actually, they were FaceTiming, like just at the event. They were
really?
Yeah, so it was off, you know what I mean? Like we weren't filming it or anything. And I was like, oh, okay. Because I didn't realize until that night, you know, who was hired as a chef. So they were genuinely just FaceTime and talking.
Well, that is good
so I was like, okay.
Okay, well, we might get to see more of Scott Lee.
Yeah.
Now, I already had met him before because he had, I've been to his restaurant and my friends have had
right.
events.
And his food's amazing. Like, the food he did for us that night was
his food is
amazing.
good. I don't have nothing negative to say.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see how long they're going to last. That's all. I hope they last.
I'm rooting for that.
I hope.
I think he brings out a calmness in her too that I like.
Yeah, I want to be clear to everybody. This is no hate because I do like him.
Right. Yeah.
I'm just saying I ain't never seen her really be for real in a relationship on this in this setting.
Yeah. So it's about time, probably.
Oh, it's more than time, but I'm just trying to see because like you said, like everybody knows that the hard part of being on this show is that people don't really some people are scared to come on the show.
Right.
Especially
rightfully so.
Yeah, it's especially like the significant others.
Right.
Because we see what happens to them.
So Kenya, Marlo,
I'm done.
and Kandi
Ralph,
called you
please,
a bitch.
please
What do you
stop.
want me to do? Attack them and say, don't call my wife a B? Some things is
You're
really not
embarrassing
worth it.
Okay. What in the motherfucking world?
Okay, so let's dive into this episode. Starting off with Ralph and Drew.
Okay, girl.
Lord have mercy.
Ciao.
You the cousin, girl.
Ciao.
You are the cousin.
You know what? I'm claiming the cousin because we're actually cousin-in-laws, but he and I have created a very genuine relationship, and I am here for it. I am here for it.
Let me say
Kenny,
this.
what's so funny?
I know I'm laughing. It's like we are actually cousin-in-laws.
You look so
A lot of people didn't understand it, but me being
I
a
did
person,
from the jump.
well, yeah, you tried to explain it a couple of times, but people still was trying to be like, what?
Because they just didn't want us to be. You know
Right.
what I mean? But
Right.
we're black folks, and when you meet somebody that grew up spending the same night in the house that you grew up spending the night in, you're cousins. So
Yeah.
say what you want. If you don't understand it,
Right.
you just don't have a traditional black,
To be honest,
family dynamic.
Right. To be honest with you, I got a huge family, so
Me
I
too.
get it. I get it. Like it's like the cousin to the other cousin. When they bring that cousin to too many of the family events, they are a full blood cousin, not a cousin-in-law.
Right.
So I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But everybody don't understand that dynamic.
Right.
The only part that I didn't get about it was that it seemed like Ralph was so quick to defend you against his wife. And that's what I was saying. Like, I mean, I get the cousin-in-law thing, but it's like y'all just met, really, even though y'all have family that goes way back.
Yeah.
It's like his wife of, I guess they've been married. They got married the same year me and Todd got.
8 years.
It's 9.
Oh, 9. Okay.
I think they got the same year that Todd and I.
Okay. Yeah.
I think they knew each other 13 or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not sure, but
like I would have been feeling away if Todd had did that.
Rightfully so, but I think that, and I totally agree with you in most relationships, but I think that we all know that their relationship wasn't that traditional. And when I met Ralph,
What do you mean by not traditional?
I mean, just that they were having some issues. And when I met Ralph pretty early on, once we realized that like my first cousins are his cousin, is actually his best friend is my first cousin and all that, you know, he's like, I'm gonna just be honest, like Drew lies really bad. So I want y'all to build a genuine friendship, but just be careful. Because my cousins was like, she's a ride or die. Like, if she rock with you, you gonna love her. You know what I mean? So he was just pretty honest with me. Like, give her a fair shot, but please know. Like, she's done it to me for the last 8 years.
But even though he knew we were filming together and you could use that information against her?
I didn't. I never did.
Not at the beginning.
No.
At the end.
I mean, until I had permission to. Like,
It's like when people break up, like you have your friends you're gonna take, and Todd's gonna have his friends that he takes. Like you
said, it was all fair once they started breaking up.
Well, no, it's Ralph is my people at this point. Yes, if she didn't meet Drew at that party. She didn't meet Drew first.
And I never said anything that Ralph wasn't okay with, right? Like and there's a lot of things I haven't said that I'm not going to say because I know it's important for their discovery and their divorce. Right. So I only said things that I knew I could say. All along, I genuinely was believing Drew and trying to build a real friendship with her when he's like, watch her. You know what I mean? And I'm still like even with you all, I was believing Drew. You know what I mean? And then I realized, holy shit, like, because typically I could tell when somebody's full of shit, right? But Drew had me fooled, girl.
I think she's a great actress. She's an amazing actress.
Is that what we gonna call it, or just a compulsive liar?
Ooh.
Maybe she's both.
Child, we gonna be rolling the clips of these lies.
Listen, I've kissed a girl before.
Cause you know she tried to come for me at reunion. We can't
talk
we ain't
about
got
that
to reunion yet.
Yeah.
But
girl, reunion was good though.
Yeah, I'm gonna definitely have to drop these clips. You know, I'm gonna have to drop the receipts.
You gonna drop them, Candy?
The lies. The lies. I mean, just simple stuff how she lie in our face and people don't remember.
And it's just stuff that nobody cares about. That's the part I don't understand. It's like, Drew, nobody cares.
I said you cheated on your husband with me.
I cheated?
Yeah. We kissed.
I have to ask about this because they showed a little bit about it, but they didn't show a lot. Now, at what was that thing that Drew had with the spiritual mental health retreat?
Wellness retreat.
Yeah. I had a brain freeze, sorry. So at the mental health retreat, you know, a lot of things came up when we sat down to eat.
We definitely.
With that being said, I have to rewind a little bit back to the Portland thing because it was the videotape, the infamous videotape.
The infamous video.
And you were on the tape saying whatever about bitch.
This bitch.
Yeah. So Monyetta felt like you were talking about Drew.
Yes.
When Monyetta showed me the clip when we were on scene at the movie where we were shooting, I saw it. I was like, well, I can't really tell who you were calling a bitch, but I knew you said the word bitch because you said, I don't even use that word.
I don't go around saying like Candy's a bitch, Drew's a bitch is what I was saying. Yeah.
Okay.
But what I was doing was that night, you and Drew in Portugal had a conversation about whether or not Drew kissed LaToya, right? And Marlo recorded Drew, and then Drew is talking, and she's like, and this bitch, da-da-da-da-da-da. I was imitating her. And this bitch, because we were still talking about who was telling the truth. Because at that point, I didn't know that Drew was a complete liar. So she had said that I put it on my kids. I never kissed her. So I was believing her. I'm like, well, maybe Candy was drinking. They were like, well, Candy don't drink. And I was like, well, damn, I don't know. So when she put it on her kids, I'm like, there's no way. And I'm talking to Sonya, and I'm like, because she was so like, in this bitch, and she was talking about LaToya. So I was imitating Drew, but I was not calling her a bitch. I was imitating what the way she was acting about LaToya. And the videos came to life. So you can literally look at my video and the recordings and see what I was doing.
Who did she put on her kids that Was it the first argument that she had with Sanya? She never kissed.
She never kissed a woman. She put it on her kids.
She never.
She said she never kissed a woman.
Yes, and she said, "I swear on my kids." So that's why I was believing her, right? Like, how are you gonna put that on your kids? And I think most of the other women were like, "No, we believe Kandi." And I was like, "I think Kandi was drinking." That's when they were like, "Kandi don't drink," and I was like, "Oh, well, darn."
Well, no, I just thought the funny part was because I think everybody remembered that Drew had said at one point that she's kissed a girl before. But at that moment, because you remember we were talking and Sonny was like, "Drew, I'm shocked because I thought you said that you had a girl experience before." She was like, "No, I've never did this." And then I immediately said, "Yeah, you did because you kissed Toya." But overall, she was denying ever
kissing a woman,
period. But I think the simple fact, even when I called Shmi on the phone, Shmi was like, "Oh yeah, because that was the first thing she said."
Oh, so she remembered too.
She did, but then when Drew kept saying, "No, because da-da-da-da-da-da," she was talking them out of what they thought.
And I was still, again, believing Drew and trying to build this friendship with her. So I'm like, she would never put on her kids, right? Like, nobody does that.
But everybody else was like giving her a pass in that moment. I was like, "No, you are not going to make me unsee what I saw." Like,
and the crazy part was she was so convincing which I don't know if you saw the recordings that Marlo had. She went on LaToya so bad. Like, and this bitch did this, and so I was just like, oh my God.
She did. Anyway, but, either way, the whole situation with that. Oh, speaking of, should we at this point drop How She Do Be Lying?
What'd I say?
You said you seen them kiss too.
When?
At the time, I didn't really remember when she said it, but I knew she had already said it publicly or around the group at least, that she had kissed a girl before, but I didn't realize it was at this moment. But that's why Sonya said, "I could have sworn you said you kissed." Well, this is why, because Sonya, we was all there. Drop the receipt.
Listen, I've kissed a girl before. I would not have to lie about that.
Have you ever kissed a woman, Drew?
I've never kissed a woman.
Because she told the world that she's already kissed a girl before, but y'all seem to have forgot. And y'all seem to think that Kandi is outing her when she's already has said this before y'all.
Hold up.
Loud and proud.
And let me add, Kandi, when I was talking to Rob about it, he was like, "I don't know what the big deal is. She told me as soon as she got back. Like, why is she making this a big deal?" I mean, and I can understand. I think it's not fair to people to also be like, "Well, you're not a good friend for outing her." It's not about outing someone. It's about someone lying about something that is not even a big deal. Like, no one's trying to out you, Drew. Do what you want. Like, out you, that's a little extreme.
The other part of that video clip was Mayetta said you were fighting for your life. Trying to prove your loyalty to Sheree. I think that's what she was trying to say. Because you were also on the video, you say something about Sheree, you talking about how long y'all been friends or something.
Yeah, and I think that's cute of Mayetta, fighting for my life. I think we all know I don't ever feel the need to fight for my life in a group of women, but that was cute. So, but what she was talking about was Drew had texted me. So when we were in Birmingham, it was brought up that there was this chef who there was $1,000 that was owed to this chef from Drew.
Okay.
And when Ralph and I were talking off camera, I said, "Ralph, can y'all please just pay the chef? Like, this is crazy, right?" And he's like, "I've told my wife to pay the chef, right?" So then Drew, when we were in Portugal, texted me and said, "I have to bring up the chef thing." And I'm like, and she made it seem like I told her, like, came back to her, like, "Oh, like, me and Sheree is, like, gossiping, and I'm saying, like, oh, Sheree told me about this $1,000, which was never the case." And I was like, "Sheree, we've been friends long enough. You already know how I am. You already know my character, so I'm not going to sit here and defend it." And I do feel like that got blown out of proportion, but fighting for my life, no. Like, what are you talking about? Well, Sheree and I have had, disagree, like, whatever. Like, it's not even a big deal, but don't pretend like I told you something. Like, you and I are gossiping about Sheree when I never told you, number one. And I just told your husband and was like, "Just make that shit go away. It's $1,000.
Okay, well, I think the thing that was basically being discussed on our end when Mayetta brought it back was the collusion, which I had to look it up. I didn't even know the word.
I mean, a whole collusion.
In this show over the years, obviously there have been what they call, people getting in their alliances or whatever, right? And so I guess the whole point of that discussion was to say, like, you guys were in an alliance. Basically, you, Sheree, Sonya, Marlo, or whatever, right?
She loving the vibe and she wanna give me compliments.
Hey, girl.
You look gorgeous. My diva, show up. Look beautiful.
This is so amazing, Marlo.
Basically, you were showing more loyalty to Sheree than your cousin. Because what I will say is that earlier on in the season anyway, if there was ever a time where your name came up in discussion on our side, she always was defending you because you were the cousin.
Same thing here with me and my friend group, right? So I was defending her when everybody was calling her a liar. I'm like, guys, she hasn't lied to me. That, I'm defending her too. So yes, we both did that for sure. But I still don't know what we were colluding about. We literally was discussing you and Drew's conversation, and then we discussed the $1,000 and just why Drew didn't think it was a good idea to pay this lady who babysat and cooked food and did all those other things for her. So if that's a collusion, if that's a collusion, then it's a collusion. Like, I don't know. And if I'm having a collusion, I'm not going to discuss it in front of Moneta. Let's just be super clear. Because, you know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. I was genuinely trying to get to know Drew and build, because I'm like, oh, she's, family. Like, I genuinely wanted to build a friendship with her. And even in my scenes with Sheree, I was like, Sheree, just give her a chance. Like, and I'm filming saying this, right? So in my group, even with Marlo, like me and Marlo and Drew had a whole scene together, which didn't air, where I'm like, Marlo, you've got to just give her a shot. Like, she seems like a nice enough woman, right? None of that was aired, but I was definitely 10 toes down for her until Portugal.
Okay, so moving right along. When we back to the retreat, the other thing that was brought up during that dinner was that Cynthia had, I guess, y'all went to the birthday dinner for Sheree, which was off camera.
Say that wasn't filmed?
It was not filmed. They were just going as friends to Sheree's birthday dinner.
Right.
But it did come back that... what's his name?
Martell.
Excuse me, Martell. But it did come back that Martell had tried to get y'all to Cash App for the dinner because he wasn't going to pay it by himself.
That came back.
That did come back. Now, you do realize I was not there.
Yeah.
Kenya was not there. Drew was not there.
Right.
So it had to be somebody in the alliance.
And you know what? And let me tell you why I didn't like that. I'm going to be honest with why I didn't like it. Number one, I was there that night, and I was actually at the other end of the table. Martell was at the head of the table.
No. And didn't pay for it?
No.
She said no, he had the head and didn't pay.
So listen, he was sitting by Sheree at first, and then he moved to the head to talk. And this is the thing, and I'm going to just be honest. I went to that dinner not expecting him to pay for anything because it's her birthday, right? However, when he was talking about the Cash App, guys, he was joking. It wasn't, I promise you, it was joking. And I was at the other end of the table. I already had my card out. The funny part about it is her friend Stan asked for the check and paid for it. So whoever went back was honestly being catty. Like, it wasn't anything like him. He was not being serious about it, and it really wasn't a big deal. Because I'm going to be honest with you. Like, I mean, anybody could have easily paid and made it seem like it was him. He was joking. He literally was joking about it.
So do you think he was going to pay?
I don't know. I don't know because I wasn't even thinking about that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I took my credit card out and Stan was like, I already took care of it. So I was like, oh,
sweet right now.
No, I'm being honest. Like, I never thought like that night.
Okay, so you didn't think it was kind of like odd that her guy was not really volunteering to pay the check?
I didn't perceive it as him not. He was going to pay, but he was saying we had to Cash App him. Like, he was joking. He was joking about it.
Let me just say this. When Sheree was asked about it, and I don't even know if they didn't even show it. Remember we went to the place that Kenya had invited us to, the workout thing, we jumped around and stuff?
Yeah.
And the conversation, it was a bigger conversation about it then. So I'm not sure if they're going to show it in a not seen before clips.
No, there was a big conversation.
It was a big conversation about it. In that conversation, it didn't seem like Sheree was saying she felt like he was about to pay. She just didn't like the fact that, it was brought back.
I don't know if he was what his intentions were. I just know he was being funny when he said it. I promise you. Like, it was a joke, and I didn't think
Many true
twice.
things have been said in a joke.
I mean, right. Like, I don't know. But
Pull that cash app out.
It was nothing that made me think, oh my God. Like, I just didn't walk away thinking that. I had a free meal. It was pretty amazing. I gave her a nice bottle of champagne, and I was like, happy birthday. I didn't think anything of it. Listen, Martell was joking in the store, Kandi. I don't know. Let's move on.
We'll just say that you didn't say it.
I definitely didn't say it.
Okay, we'll just leave it at that. I just thought it was kind of funny because I just feel like the whole time I've been getting, the heat for saying stuff about Martell in the beginning.
Yeah.
But I'm like, ooh, in your own circle, they still shading his ass. Okay.
Do you talk to Drew's sister? Had you ever talked to her and seen?
Briefly. Well, at Drew's skating event, I met her sister there.
Jamie wanted to know at the retreat, did she ask you any questions about you calling Drew a bitch at the retreat, or did she just save it for the finale? Is that what you asked?
She did at that table.
She did?
She said something. She's like, you said you, because I don't remember.
She approaches you at the end. It makes it seem like you guys have a connection, or like, why would you lie to my face? And I was like, do they talk? Like,
no, we don't talk. We're not friends.
Officially meet, or was everybody like hi in the room? Like, have you officially like in the scene?
It is the official meet that went past already.
It went past official meet, the reunion. I don't know if y'all gonna see it or not. It's another situation where she just in my face yelling and screaming.
Was it cameras for that part?
You calling me a bitch?
I did. Yes, girl. But from what I was told from somebody in Drew's camp, is Drew knew we were about to film and sent her after they'd been drinking tequila in the room, so sent her into the scene.
Oh, you don't use the word bitch though.
Oh Lord.
It didn't end good, but.
Oh, that was a day. That was a day. Drew brought up the whole conversation about the bitch, and Ralph basically said, well, plenty of people didn't call you a bitch. So once again,
True.
Ralph was taken up, but for you, more than was taken up.
Because I have been a better friend to Ralph in these last 6 months than Drew has been a wife in 8 years. Period. And I stand on that. Because I would never do the things that she's done to him and try to make him seem like this horrible, narcissistic husband when she's just been playing this whole victim role, trying to intentionally create these storylines that make him look horrible. Like, that's not okay.
Are there any moments throughout while filming when something comes up where Ralph actually was like, hey, I've been meaning to ask you about this and scene? Like, has he ever approached you? There's something we may not have seen in the episode?
No, he and I were talking, and it wasn't like we were talking every day, right? Like, the funny part was we were, like, talking to our cousins, because we just couldn't even believe it, right? Because I'm real close to my cousins, and he is too. And so we were definitely, it was more of, like, that stuff, and then we would talk. I knew, as soon as I met him, I knew he was ready to divorce Drew. Like, that was no secret. Like, they had been, he told me about the whole Tampa situation and what really happened. And
do you believe him on the Tampa situation?
I have no reason not to believe him, I think, at this point. But I do know that they were already talking about divorce at that point, and they both have admitted that, right? So and so we would talk, and then he would just be like, and I'm like, well, Drew said, and he'd be like, what? Drew said what? And I'm like, something's off with these two. Like, they're clearly not on the same page. So that became very apparent to me.
Got it. We had the party, and it's all about the movie The Past. Hello, I can't really talk that much about it because it's a strike, but yeah. It was shown on this episode. This is reality TV, so I'm talking about this episode. Anyway, we decided to let Drew also perform at our rap party, because that was a rap party.
No, of course.
Now, with that being said, they showed a lot of Drew performing and singing this whole season, right?
They have.
Yeah, she got a lot of shine on this music.
She definitely has.
Which is a good thing.
No, it's really good. Yeah, hopefully she'll take it and run with that.
So she was able to come in. She was about to perform, and her sister had pulled you to the side. How'd you feel about it?
I was really annoyed. Number one, because I'm like, this is another event that I'm not trying to argue with somebody at somebody's amazing event. Like, let's let them have their moment. But when she kept at it, I was like, okay, Allison, let's go talk about it. So I had the conversation with her, and I realized that Drew really didn't want to hear the truth about the bitch thing, because I had already told Ralph what happened. I'm like, listen, I was imitating her. The reference was about her. I'm imitating Drew, talking about LaToya. I did it. I own it. I'm sorry, but I never at any point was like, Drew's a bitch, right? I'm imitating exactly how she was imitating LaToya, right? Drew knew that, and Drew just continued to carry it on. And then to put her sister on me, like, stop, Drew. So at that point, I'm just like over it. Not to mention that day, my aunt, who Ralph and I are connected through, we found out that there was nothing else that they could do with her. So, like, I just wasn't in that kind of mood to play games with them. So I just, it wasn't good. And it
He
wasn't
had already, so you and, because when they were talking about it after Portugal, you know, she wanted him to speak with you. So you guys did talk.
We were talking the whole time.
Okay.
And Drew was lying constantly. We did this whole scene that wasn't shown where I had to invite her to dinner and apologize to her. And she just, that's when I actually said in scene. In that. Yeah, she like walked off because she wanted me to have a problem with her for some reason. And I just was like, Drew, I really don't, other than I know you're a compulsive liar. Like, you're a fun girl. Like, Drew is a fun girl when she wants to be, right? So I'm like, I'm not going to create this fake storyline with you. I'm not going to keep going back and forth.
Do you think that maybe she just didn't like the fact that you and Ralph were becoming super cool and he was sharing things with you?
I don't know, because she didn't say that. She never said that. She acted like she was cool with it. She's like, I'm happy he has somebody. Like, she was acting like she was cool with it. I, at that point, had nothing against Drew. Like, we were still, I thought, cool, right? It wasn't until the next day when I realized that she went to tell Kenya the karma thing. And I was like, oh, okay, she's moving a little sideways. Got you. But before that, I was cool with her. So she knew I wasn't saying, like, Drew's a bitch. She knew it, but she just, that was her narrative, and she wanted to run with it. So
okay, so let's roll back to the karma thing since you brought it up.
Okay, yeah.
Like, what was that about?
I mean, Kenya fell, and I just said it was probably her karma.
And that's how you really feel? You standing on?
That's how I felt, and it wasn't that deep to me. Like, karma is a conversation. Like, if I butt my toe, I'm like, shit, that's my karma. Like, it's not that deep to me. It's not something that's like, I don't know why people want to act like it's like I said anything so horrible. But yeah, I definitely stand on it. It was her karma for being a mean girl, period.
Well, I don't agree with you, but I'm going to leave it at that.
Of course you can't. I mean, that's your friend, but she's still a mean girl.
I'm going to leave it at that.
She's still a mean girl, and that was her
Because
karma.
speak on it is for our guests to be able to say what they feel, and I'm not to...
I do not co-sign this message, Candy.
Yeah.
I get it, but yeah, she's a mean girl, and that was her karma.
All right, okay, we go.
Just move on past it. Mean girl, mean girl, mean girl. Okay.
Sonya, okay, this, I'm not, smiling about this. I'm smiling about we really have a happy ending now, but unfortunately, during the time of filming, right after the wrap up, when they came back to do the first interviews after wrapping the season, Sonya and Drew both got bad news in different ways.
Right.
But Sonya's was life changing.
Yes.
She lost the baby that she had announced to us during the season.
Yes.
But now she made the announcement online, so you guys know that
She's
now.
and we're so happy for her. I'm so happy for them.
What they call that? The rainbow baby?
Yes.
So now their family is still happy about a blessing.
Yes.
So I don't want y'all to see this episode and think that what was going on this filming is a reflection of what's happening in her life right now.
Oh, right, yes.
Because I know that can be confusing.
No, absolutely, right. But
yeah,
she's happy, and she's well on her way, so.
Right, so.
Drew's was life-changing, I think.
Yeah, no, we gonna get to Drew. If you are following the blogs, you know that they are currently expecting a bundle of joy, and they're excited about it. So we can still be excited, y'all. We can still be excited. We see Ralph sit down in a chair. We see Drew sit down in the chair. They both telling their separate interviews. But Drew is giving her emotional, dramatic entrance at first.
Yes.
Right? Because I guess they must have just filed for divorce at that time.
Right.
And Drew is explaining that, they were having issues and she filed for divorce. She was saying that Ralph had a lot of infidelity issues, and she was saying that she's allowed a lot of things to happen that shouldn't have happened.
Yes. And this was the reason they were getting a divorce.
Yes, that's what she was saying before they saw what became 911 news
Right.
on her timeline.
Right.
Okay. Now, what did you think about what was dropped in the blogs? And to be clear, what was dropped in the blogs was that Drew and Ty, well, she's cool. Me and Ty are cool. We friends too. But she's known to the public because she used to be in a relationship with Mimi, who used to also be on the other reality show, Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. And so Ty is a public person. Meaning she's been in the public eye before. She has had her own professional career as an athlete in the WNBA before. So she's had her own career of success or whatever. So it's not like she's, trying to put herself out there, and she's not trying to get any hype off of this situation. Right. So I want y'all to be clear. This ain't a person who just tried to send a story to the blogs or anything. So this was not sent by Ty. I'm just trying to make that clear.
Right.
But apparently Mimi, who used to be in a relationship with Ty, had posted a picture. What she post? I forgot.
A pic of Drew and Ty, I think, right?
She posted a picture of Drew and Ty.
Oh, Ty was at Ralph's party?
Mm-hmm. Ty was at Ralph's party.
I didn't know that.
So
Did Ralph know Ty prior to this? No, I don't think.
No, Drew did invite Ty to the party, to be clear. Now,
child, that's news for me.
No, she invited Ty to Ralph's party.
Oh, well, so you didn't go?
Mm-mm. I wasn't invited because
you saying to Ralph's party?
Yeah.
Okay.
He invited me, and then me and Drew were like beefing. I was like, "That's not a good idea." And he's like, "All right, cool." Like,
Mm-hmm.
But I was invited. I chose not to go because of where Drew and I were.
Right. So anyway, to be clear to everyone, this tea dropped in the blogs. It was going viral as Drew was sitting down in her chair. So after she had just told everybody in the world that the story of their breakup is because Ralph and his infidelities, then this tea was dropping 911 news. Okay. I didn't know what to think at the time because even though Drew and I had our little back and forth during the season, we had just finished this movie together. I'm trying to celebrate in that. Yes. Drew and Ralph, on his actual birthday, they came to New York to go to the finale of my production, the play I was producing, The Piano Lesson. So right after that was the party. Now, what I will say...
Did you go to the party?
I was out of town. I didn't get to go to the party. Now, what I will say is, on this episode, I did not like how she tried to drop in there about, what did she say? I met Ty on Kandi's movie.
Like you were the mastermind behind this
whole
thing. Kandi, you're good.
I'm like, why she sitting up there acting like I'm like, she's acting like I am the mastermind of her being a full-out lesbian. And going on.
Kandi, you are good, girl.
Why did she drop my name in there like that? And it was the way she said it.
You know why?
She said, on Kandi's movie. What? Girl.
With Drew.
And as soon as they put that out, I knew somebody was going to try to blame me for that mess. So I'm going to clear up what her meeting Kandi's movie. How she ended up meeting on Kandi's movie.
Please do, because I want to hear this.
Okay.
Let's
so be clear.
Speak on it, Kandi.
Yes, because I didn't like that. Because first of all, I did not like when she told Sheree during the season that I had made up this story about her kissing girls for the sake of promoting a movie.
But no one believed that. But
I didn't like it. Right. I didn't like it. So anyway, I definitely didn't like her dropping my name again in that way. So anyway, from the way my understanding is, okay, so our movie stars, the three major leads are Drew, Erica, which is a friend of mine, but she's an amazing actress,
right,
and Rob.
Right.
Okay. They all are actors who work a lot.
Right.
They got a lot of movies behind their name. Now, with that being said, Erica is also friends with Ty.
Oh,
Okay? I'm friends with Ty.
Yeah,
It's cool.
okay.
But on set, apparently, and Mayetta says this on the show.
Two different, yeah.
On the set, Drew said something to the effect of, if things don't work out with Ralph and I, then I'll just I might have to just get with my girl crush or something.
Ooh.
And Marietta said, "Who is your girl crush?" And she said, "Ty."
I saw that in the confessional, Mañana's confessional.
Yeah.
Right. So she said it to Marietta,
Okay.
but she also said it to my friend who was a makeup artist, and she had a part in the movie as well, Tay.
Okay.
I don't want to get mixed up. Let's say my friend who's a makeup artist, okay?
Okay.
So anyway, with that being said, my friend who's a makeup artist mentioned it to Erica. The next day, Erica had brought Ty to set.
Because Drew said that.
Now, I don't know if it was because of what Drew said.
I like the hookup.
I don't know if it was because of what she said.
Okay.
Voila.
But what I will say, she said prior that was her girl
So,
crush.
Kandi, it wasn't you who set the whole thing up.
I didn't set it up. She said out her own mouth to the people who you heard Mayetta say it herself, from her mouth to Mayetta's ears. It's on the show that Ty was her girl crush. So it was mentioned to another friend on set who's friends with Ty, and voila, Ty showed up the next day.
Okay.
Now I don't know.
It was two different ways.
What?
The makeup artist, I guess they're probably just talking about how it's going so far, and she's like, yeah. You're not thinking anything of it. You're like, I was trying to help Drew get into it. She's talking about a scene with a girl, and it's like, well, just think about, like, who your girl crush is.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
That's right.
She said,
Ooh, so you brought her dream to life.
Wait, hold on, not me. Stop dropping me. No. Now, mind you, just because she said that was her girl crush, it does not mean you have to act on that.
You definitely
So I'm not saying that makes her guilty, innocent, or anything.
Right.
I'm just saying that Kandi didn't do it.
Right.
Okay, that's what I'm making. It manifested
She's
itself.
a great manifester.
Like,
then.
yeah, don't be Kandi's movie. Don't do that. Don't do that. Anyway, so after that, Ty may have stopped by the set a couple times. May or may not. I'm not confirming.
Right.
But
Right.
she had friends on the set. I mean, a few of us are friends with her, so it wasn't a big deal.
Like,
I get
good
it.
friends with Ty.
Yeah, a lot of us. I'm not
Right.
saying that she had to be coming to see Drew.
True. Right.
Okay?
I get it.
That's not what I'm saying. I be having to clear my name in these streets.
Girl.
Because people is using me as a fall guy, and you're not gonna do it to me. You're not doing it to me. Well, the other part I'm gonna say that happened in the after show with Drew and I, she said that Ralph was the one who made the story up about her and Ty. She said he made it up, and then she was like, he's the one that the story. Whenever you ask anybody where did they get the story from, they're gonna say Ralph.
Not the blogs, but Ralph.
She's saying that Ralph is leaking that story to the blog.
With the pictures.
That's what she's saying. Well, that's what she said in after show.
The pictures were online.
Right.
She made reels.
No, wait, what?
The birthday pictures?
Well, I mean, I guess the story itself, I guess she's saying they're trying to make it seem like they hooked up.
Did she not see that Mimi had posted about it?
Right, but I guess she's saying that him and Mimi are in cahoots some kind of way. But what I will say was, when she and I were in the after show, I didn't go into any real gossip that I heard or anything like that, but I will say that, because she was like, well, where did you hear from? And I was thinking, now, Todd, obviously, and Ralph are good buddies. And, of course, Ralph told a lot of the guys what was going on in real time.
Right.
And, of course, my husband told me. So I was just like, okay, well, yeah, I did hear something from Ralph.
Right.
Anyway, but that whole situation was a crazy way to end the season.
Yes, it was.
I mean, who could have ever thought that was going to happen?
It was like the perfect storm, right? Because obviously we know the whole conversation about her kissing a girl, it just came up out of the blue. It wasn't like anyone, it wasn't even intentional. And then Drew just doubled down, and I would never do that on my kids. And then for this to come out, it was
so
literally
crazy.
The perfect storm, the way it kind of unfolded.
Yeah, that is the crazy thing, that it did all go together.
Yes.
Now, if I was a mastermind.
Some of those superpowers, girl.
I had to have superpowers to put this little thing together. Because realistically, that whole argument between her and Portland, that was never supposed to happen. It would have never hit the TV if Marla wouldn't have had her camera.
No, right.
So, like, how did I plan that to happen so perfectly? I don't know. But what I will say,
I'm glad Marlo had her cameras though, because that's what vindicated me when I saw her saying
that is
she was
true.
Imitating LaToya was like, this bitch, and then I was imitating her saying this bitch.
Right.
So thank God for Marlo and those cameras.
Right. I mean, overall, honestly, I feel like this really doesn't even have to be a relationship breaker if that's the problem.
Because you already talked about it.
Yeah, I don't think it has to be a relationship breaker.
I think it's the lion for him.
People would love in your reunion look.
Oh, thank you. I love yours too, actually.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No, for sure. Thank you.
So, how do you feel how you were represented overall?
You know, I think overall good, because it stayed 100% true to me. And for me, I just didn't want to go in and have preconceived notions based on other people's relationships. And I feel like I was authentic. I said how I feel. I owned what I did. So overall, I feel good. Yeah, I feel good.
Okay. Well, that is all, guys. Everybody, please follow Courtney on all platforms.
Thank you for having me again.
Thank you
to speak on everything.
Yes, we had to have you. Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you for watching. Speak on it.
Well, speak on it.